The latest data and information on UK salaries and earnings in the workplace is out. So today I want to talk about how much people are earning and how we stack up against others based on where we live, our age, and so on. This report shows the pay-as-you-earn income, so it only includes people with regular jobs who get a paycheck from an employer. Let's start off by looking at high-level median earnings of individuals before tax. With around 36 million people employed in the UK, the median figure shows what the average person right in the middle of this group earns. Early estimates for December 2024 put the median monthly pay at £2,457, which works out to an annual salary of £29,484 before tax. For comparison, in December 2023, the median monthly pay was £2,331. For those quick with numbers, that's a 5.4% increase compared to the same time last year. So on paper, that sounds like good news. But does it really feel like a pay rise? With the cost of living still climbing, those extra pounds might not stretch as far as they used to. And let's not forget, a £29,000 salary can mean something entirely different depending on where you live, whether you're in the north of England or right in the heart of London. But I also want to see if people are actually getting richer in real terms. For instance, if you received a 5.4% pay rise, but inflation was 3.2%, your real increase would only be 2.2%. Now, this would still be a good thing because it means you've got more buying power, since your income went up faster than the cost of living. But this might not always be the case. For example, according to this chart, both regular and total pay have experienced annual growth rates of 5.6% in nominal terms. When adjusted for inflation, the real term growth rates are 2.5% for regular pay and 2.4% for total pay. This indicates that wages are currently increasing at a pace faster than inflation, leading to real wage growth. So things look okay on paper. But whether they feel that way in real life depends on your own circumstances. Alright, that was the median monthly pay as of December 2024. But what if we move away from the middle of this group and focus on the extremes? Let's take a look at the highest and lowest earners to see how things compare at both ends of the scale. According to the data, 10% of employees earned less than £805 per month, representing the lower end of the income distribution, while the top 10% earned more than £5,651 a month, with 90% earning less. In other words, earning £67,812 a year would place you in the top 10%, where about 3.6 million people fall. But what about the 1%? Well, to be in the top 1%, you need to earn £15,887 per month. That's £190,644 a year, which puts you in the group of the highest paid employees in the UK. Now, remember that just because some people earn this much, doesn't necessarily mean that they're living a comfortable life. If your living costs go up a lot, you might end up feeling worse off than someone earning less but keeping their spending in check. So let's look at this data in more detail, starting with median earnings by industry. The thin blue line here is the overall median number we discussed before. This is £2,457 a month. Unsurprisingly, tech and finance lead the way in terms of earnings, with the median income in finance being significantly higher than the median of the UK. Interestingly, as shown in this chart, some of the lower paid sectors have seen the biggest percentage increases in pay over the last year, while education, finance, IT, or construction have seen lower growth, which might suggest that these sectors are starting to catch up. However, the increased pay could be due to a combination of factors, like minimum wage increases, labor shortages, and efforts to retain employees in these sectors that traditionally have high turnover rates. There's probably a mix of reasons behind these pay jumps in lower paid sectors compared to others. Now, while finance, construction, and IT have experienced smaller percentage pay increases over the last year, let's be honest, these sectors will continue to dominate because their median salaries remain higher than those in any other industry. Let's now shift our focus to age groups. But before we move on, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out small UK-based channels like mine and allows me to keep bringing you more content. Thank you. Here is another chart, and once again the blue line represents the median average income of £2,457. As we move through the different age brackets, it's clear that earnings tend to rise with age and experience, reaching their peak around the late 30s to mid 40s. It's no surprise that younger workers, especially those just starting out, earn less on average. But as people progress in their careers, their income generally increases, with a noticeable jump as they move into the later stages of their working lives. Of course, factors like career progression, industry, and experience play a big role in shaping these numbers. But it's fascinating to see how income rises and levels out over time in relation to age. As you can see here, median pay for under 18s was £426 a month. 18 to 24 was around £1,752, 25 to 34 was £2,652. The highest median earners are the 35 to 49 category at £2,853, where earnings start to peak for most people in that age bracket. After this age group, you'll notice that earnings gradually start to decline as people start to retire and get older. As you can see, 50 to 64 sit just above the overall median with £2,511. And the same can be said for younger groups. Anyone in their 20s, for example, has a much lower median salary than the group in their 40s, which makes a lot of sense when you consider the difference in the years of experience. And lastly, the over 65s median income was £1,441. So before you start stressing about being underpaid or falling behind, keep in mind that salaries generally go up with age. There is a pretty strong link between how old you are and how much you earn, with pay usually rising as you gain more experience and move through your career. So if you're still on the lower end of the scale, don't worry. Your earnings are likely to grow as time goes on. However, while these numbers are interesting, they don't tell the whole story. Location plays a massive role in your salary, as you probably expect. Visually, you can really see the difference in average incomes across various regions. The dark blue and navy areas represent the regions with the highest median earnings, while the green and yellow areas show the parts of the country where median salaries are lower. It's clear that your location can make a big impact on how much you're likely to earn. Looking at this map, you'll notice that London and the Southeast really stand out. Median pay in London as a whole is around £2,906, which is well above the national average. The high concentration of high-paying jobs in sectors like finance, technology, and professional services in these areas is what pushes those numbers up. So it's not exactly a surprise. When you zoom in, you'll notice that inner London and outer London differ quite a bit. For example, median pay in Enfield is £2,450, while in Wandsworth it's £3,753. But remember, since this is a median figure, it means that 50% of people in Wandsworth are actually earning more than that amount. On the flip side, the lowest median income in the UK, according to this data, can be found in Torbay, where it's £2,121. This regional focus highlights a significant disparity in pay across the country, showing that there is still a big difference in median incomes across the UK. For instance, regions such as the North East and Wales often report lower median incomes, which can be attributed to a variety of factors, including the types of industries predominant in those areas, local economic conditions, and the availability of high-skilled jobs. I do think it's worth saying here that although there are obviously big differences, there is no way to really understand them unless we look into every part of life and the quality of living. I'd bet that plenty of people on lower salaries in the north of the country have a significantly better quality of life compared to London, as housing costs and other major factors can easily eat into those bigger salaries. Now, I'm sharing all this with you in the hope that it gives you some useful data to think about when it comes to improving your financial situation. I can't promise you'll hit the jackpot, but it's pretty clear that the industry you're in plays a big role in your earnings. And of course, location matters even more, as we've just seen. Just moving 50 to 100 miles in a certain direction could completely change your earning potential. So it's definitely worth considering where you're based and how that affects your income. For example, if you're currently in a lower paying area, it might be worth exploring job opportunities in regions with higher salaries, especially in industries like tech or finance, where pay tends to be higher. And while moving might not be an option for everyone, there is always the chance to pivot or adapt your career to align with higher paying sectors. Ultimately, it's about using this data to your advantage. Understand where the opportunities lie, whether it's a specific industry or region, and make informed choices that could boost your earnings over time. Now, if you're a bit surprised by the figures we just discussed, remember that no matter how much you earn, putting even just £50 a month into your pension or a stocks and shares ISA puts you ahead of many people in the UK who aren't investing at all, even if they earn more than you. But here is the big question. Which of these two accounts is better for building wealth over time? Check out this video to learn about the key differences between them.